Beautiful Starkville, Mississippi. You are watching the SEC on ESPN. Glad to be with you on this Saturday as Mississippi State and Alcorn State will meet in a Magnolia State battle. Alcorn State looking for their first win of the season. Jeff Levy and Mississippi State trying to keep it rolling, looking for a 3-0 start for the first time since 2018. Last Saturday night was one for the memory bank. Nick Mitchell in the hole with a big hit. Bulldog defense finishes him off. Mississippi State forces a field goal. Then Blake Shapen goes to the air. He finds Brennan Thompson deep. 58 yards to the house. And Mississippi State's defense finished it off. An interception to seal the win. 24-20. The biggest victory by far of the Jeff Levy era. Quite the celebration last Saturday night in Starkville. Blake Shapen and his Bulldogs. You saw the big touchdown at the end of the game. Snapped an 8-game losing streak against teams ranked in the AP Top 25. And it's been 1991 since a Top 15 non-conference victory here at Davis-Wade Stadium. And now the Bulldogs have to try to come back down and focus on Alcorn State. Alongside two-time All-American at UCLA, Charles Arbuckle, and the birthday boy, I'm Richard Cross. Thanks for being with us on this Saturday. What a win last week for Mississippi State.
Foundational wins are hard to come by. It takes a lot of effort, emotional effort, everything. And I think these guys understand that now. By being able to do that, that's such a hard thing to do.
And tonight, the opponent for Jeff Levy's Bulldogs is Alcorn State. The Braves come in 0-2 on the year. They've struggled in their first couple of ball games. They are led offensively by their quarterback, Jalen Tolbert, and Jacorian Sewell in the backfield.
They have to be big players today. In order to beat a team like this, you need explosive offense and defense. These two guys make a lot of plays for Alcorn.
For the 18th consecutive game, Mississippi State will start with the football. Alcorn won the toss. They deferred to the second half, and so Mississippi State will receive. Maybe not quite the crowd they had last Saturday night, but the students are packed in and they are ready to go. Bells are ringing on this Saturday in Starkville.
Everywhere around this town, they were still reliving last week. When we went out to dinner, when I just hung out, just had some coffee, everybody talking about this Mississippi State team.
Bulldogs will watch that one sail into the end zone, and the Dogs will start offensively from their own 25-yard line. Blake Shapen leads his team out. Played only 4 games a year ago before being sidelined by an injury. He was the MVP of the Big 12 championship game back in 2021. It's been 3 years at Baylor, 4 years again. The shoulder injury knocked him out for the rest of the way last season. Shapen decided he was coming back for one more year. And last week, 3 touchdown passes against Arizona State, all of them over 45 yards. Devon Booth off the right hip of Blake Shapen, 68% on the year, 4 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Wants to start out through the air, takes a hit as he lets it go, and he overshoots Brennan Thompson, his intended receiver. That is not easy to do. He's the fastest man on this team, and we think the fastest man in college football.
He may lay claim to that. I think the real key was the pressure coming in doesn't allow Shapen to sit in the pocket like he normally can. You're going to see it coming late, right there. Can't follow through. He throws it a long way, even still.
2nd and 10, Shapen trying to go to the air, takes a shot. Did he overshoot him? Nope. Jordan Mosley on the catch. 10-5, touchdown Mississippi State. Two plays, 75 yards, and it did not take long. Mississippi State has scored on its opening possession now in all 3 games this year.
Explosive plays are what they love, and they dial them up, and they did it twice. The second time was the charm.
Ethan Pulliam on to try the extra point. The redshirt sophomore from right here in Starkville, Starkville High School. Left footer bangs it through. I beg your pardon. Kyle Ferry. Ethan Pulliam is the punter. Kyle Ferry bangs it through with the left foot. And he's now made 36 consecutive extra points.
Protection there. Receiver just runs right by Tavion Haney. When you got one-on-one coverage, you got to get back. There's nobody back, and that's just one of those things he knows. Blake Shapen said, hey, my off-season when I didn't get the chance to play, I worked on everything, and those guys had the celebration already ready to go. He said, but I had to learn how to also avoid things and make sure I get it out to my receiver. He got it to a weapon right there.
All 5 of Blake Shapen's touchdown passes this year have gone for 45 yards or more. That a 75-yard touchdown reception for Jordan Mosley. 2 plays, 17 seconds.
It was really good to sit down and talk to Jeff Levy yesterday about his program and just the win they were able to do last week. But it's also one of those, do you have a hangover? And I'd say no. You come out and you do that. These guys attacked right away.
Reggie Davis and Tylen Citizen, the deep men for Alcorn State. It's Davis that's going to bring it out. He gets to the 15, and he is upended at the 16-yard line. What a hit by Jabrias Stewart.
Richard, when you learn how to win big games, and then you come back and play an opponent you should dominate, you play to your level. And even on special teams, look at this. 36 coming free. Whoa! Get those shoulders down. Terry Tate style and take them down. Yeah, if you don't know who Terry Tate is, you go look him up.
Linebacker.
Yeah, you know.
So if there was any concern about Mississippi State coming out flat, forget about it. 2 plays, a 75-yard touchdown, and then a big hit by Stewart on special teams. Here's Jalen Tolbert and the offense for Alcorn State. The Braves out of Lorman, Mississippi. SWAC team, and it's on the ground to start things off. Jacorian Sewell, he's got a couple, and then runs into a wall of maroon jerseys.
Holman Hutzler told us, though, this is a big offensive line, and Jalen Tolbert is the guy that gets behind him.
350 yards, 1 touchdown, has not been intercepted this season, or at least in the last game it was not. Jalen Tolbert, a transfer from Howard, wants to make plays with his arm. Even if he gets outside the pocket, he is still looking to throw the ball down the field. It goes to the air here and complete on the slant out across the 25-yard line. That's Omarion Blakes out of Shaw, Mississippi on the catch.
They've got a couple of weapons on the outside. Jarvis Rush is one guy. Nico Sandifer, Omarion Blakes. They've got a few guys that can make plays, and they'll go with a big lineup to try to run the football. They'll bring on 9 offensive linemen and try to run through you, and that's what they're doing right here.
Big number 51, Landon Sewell, comes in as an extra offensive lineman. 3rd and less than a yard for Alcorn State, and now they'll have all 11 in the box. Full house backfield, don't see it very often. Straight ahead, a first down and more on the carry. Reggie Davis moves the sticks for Alcorn.
You will see them line up in this. They'll come with all of the offensive linemen. They'll get a full house backfield, and they'll just come and wear you down. I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to hit you till your mouthpiece comes out. Look, big on big. Big guys just bowing their neck and trying to get under you. And that's going to be a tough one for you.
Jaden Bryant said, get that mouthpiece out of the way. We've got football to play. 6 on the offensive line. Tyron Warren is the motion man. Ooh. A hit in the backfield. Jakari Tillman was the first one there.
This linebacking crew is so good at reading where the holes are. Watch 7 come through clean. He doesn't make the tackle, and they're going to tease him. Well, he was there. He stayed with them. But just like last week, you see Braden Jennings cleans it up. But Nick Mitchell did the same thing on the goal line. They really want to see those gaps, and when they do, they will fire and try to knock you for a tackle for loss.
Brandon Jennings had 7 tackles last week. He cleaned it up there. Tolbert wants to take a shot down the field. Got some contact. No flag comes in. Incomplete. A 3rd down coming up.
Jarvis Rush has to fight through that. Good job by the defensive back of just stand with him. You're gonna get held. As a receiver, you got to fight through that. Good job by the defensive back, Jaylon Manning. Energy guy. Brings a lot of energy to this team.
Reggie Davis in the backfield with Tolbert. Jarvis Rush and Omarion Blakes lined up at the top of your screen. Blakes in the slot. Play clock at 5. To the air and nobody home. He's in the neighborhood of Blakes. Looked like Tolbert was looking for an out cut. Blakes broke to the inside. There is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that Northwestern State, they were not on the same page last week against Alabama A&M. Much better. Struggling to score points consistently.
Stephen Robinson, our referee tonight, waves the flag off, and so it's punting time for Alcorn State. This Alcorn State team came in recognizing that there was a physical mismatch, but that did not change the way they prepared this week. Coaches told us coming in to try and win a football game, they're certainly going to have their hands full tonight. Demetrian Duval will punt it away. Flag comes in and they'll blow it dead, and Duval will have to do it again. Right side of that line moved early. We'll move it 5 yards back.
Confusion.
Alcorn State going to take a timeout.
You don't want to burn them there, but there's something they couldn't see or couldn't figure out.
So a timeout before the punt. 4th and 15 coming up. Alcorn State opened their season with Northwestern State. Lost that game 20-10. Put some points on the board last week against Alabama A&M, but lost that one by 10 as well. 41-31 was the final. Cedric Thomas in his second season as the head coach for the Braves. Took over for Fred McNair. Won a couple of SWAC titles in his time.
They want to be fast on offense. They call it the fast and fun offense. Northwestern State, they had a lot of drops. They just didn't look in rhythm. They looked a lot better against Alabama A&M from an offensive standpoint.
Anthony Evans III is the return man. He stands at his own 30-yard line. This one's returnable. Evans up the middle of the field trying to get to the outside. He's across midfield. Evans to the 40. Still on his feet. Finally wrestled down across the 30-yard line. Gang tackle there by Alcorn State, but a big return for Anthony Evans. 40 yards on the punt, 30 on the return. Mississippi State struck first.
Well, when you get down and you have a guy that can fly, you get the ball to him so he can do a little bit of celebration. And you lead 7-0.
Coming into today's game, Blake Shapen had a touchdown pass in 17 straight, make it 18. Rocco Beck leads the country, 21 coming into today. He's got a touchdown pass against Iowa State, or against Arkansas State. So it's 22 in a row for him. Fluff Bothwell in the backfield, and he will get a good gain on first down across the 25, wrestled down at the 23-yard line, pick up 6.
Gonna go a little fast here. Got the defense on the ropes. Don't let them suck.
Bothwell, the South Alabama transfer. They give it to him again, this time off left tackle. He'll go across the 20 and got to pick up a first down for the Bulldogs.
Rich, that was the one thing they talked about yesterday as a staff. You have to run the football better. If you ever look at any of Jeff Levy's offenses when he has been an offensive coordinator or a play caller, they want to run the football.
Said the running game is a work in progress. It's an area we have got to get better. And that's a look ahead to the remaining schedule. 6 of Mississippi State's 8 SEC opponents currently ranked in the top 25. Here's Bothwell again, just right up the gut. Takes it inside the 10. He's brought down by Tobias Henry.
And had a lot of movement in that offensive line. Blake Steen was a left tackle, a right tackle. He's no longer here. They're moving a lot of guys in different positions.
Right back to it. Bothwell trying to spin away, gets to the outside, inside the 5, and he's driven out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Not Wes Dew and Elijah Ruffin both there, but it has been a steady dose of Fluff Bothwell on this drive.
5'10", 230 pounds. Just a bowling ball of a guy. When you come to hit him, he's going to bounce off of you.
Bothwell last year, second team all Sun Belt at South Alabama. 13 touchdowns last season for the Jaguars. South Alabama losing on the road today to Auburn. 31-15 the final in that game. They give it to Bothwell. A flag comes in and it's blown dead. So that will negate what would have been a touchdown.
It was weird because they started slow.
First down.
And then when they went up to the line, you still have to pause a little bit. And they weren't synced. As I was saying today, Javen James is starting at right tackle. Timothy Lewis is starting at the left tackle. The interior of the offensive line has been pretty consistent without any injuries, but on the outside, that's where you've seen some changes.
3 different tackle combinations in the first 3 games for Mississippi State. Albert Reese last week was at right tackle. He earned co-SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. A toss to Brennan Thompson, trying to get the corner into the end zone, but a flag comes in behind the play.
It's going to be on Sam West, 87 on the edge, the tight end. That play to get him out of space, man.
Holding. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. First down.
I hate to call out my brethren, but I could see it from up here, and I knew at the point of attack he had it and let it go. Watch 87 here. You have so much speed with Brennan Thompson coming around, and you can see 87 on your screen there. And once he disengages, you got to let him go. Sam West held on a little too long to transfer from Indiana.
And a couple of flags come in, so Mississippi State now going the wrong direction back at the 17-yard line after the 10-yard penalty. Empty set here for Blake Shapen. A change in play call from the sideline. We talked about the interior of that offensive line. Cannon Boone at center has been consistent. Little juke upended inside the 5-yard line. That's Fluff Bothwell, who split out wide, came out of the backfield.
You have to be able to tackle in space. When you get a running back out there, he can make a move, and they're going to go fast here.
Now 2nd and goal from inside the 5. Bothwell to the right side. Bothwell into the end zone. Touchdown, Mississippi State. 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Fluff Bothwell, the sophomore out of Oneonta, Alabama.
Priori had a really nice block. Watch 8. He's going to be leading. Look at this block here. And on the interior, you have that cutoff. You have a block coming. You call it a slice. You knock that guy out. Easy touchdown there. Bothwell did all the work. Give him all the love. Give that dog a bone.
Extra point for Kyle Ferry is through. Mississippi State in front 14-0. That one took 2 minutes and 25 seconds. 6 plays, covered 29 yards. How about this move by Blocker? Into the end zone. Bulldogs in front by a couple of scores. (14-0) Mississippi State in front. A frenzied start in this ball game, and so we had to delay getting to the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, Stephanie Odie, on the field with more on the Bulldogs. Steph?
And that's right, you guys can still hear those cowbells that are ringing at Davis-Wade Stadium ever since last Saturday, the number 12 upset over Arizona State. We talked with Coach Jeff Leddy. He told us that that was a must-win win. It was tough to admit, but this is the first time they've really felt life at this program since the passing of Coach Mike Leach. And this is something that the team wanted to signal to the rest of the SEC. Not just the SEC, but the country, that the Mississippi State Bulldogs are back.
Certainly a fast start to this season for Mississippi State, trying to get to 3-0 for the first time since 2018 to begin a year. And Jeff Levy said that's, in advance of that game, it was nothing I ever would say publicly. But he knew the importance of last Saturday, what an opportunity it was for some validation for his team.
Yeah, you know in your core, when you've been around a team and you know that team, and the way they struggled last year, but the one thing I've heard and watched on tape, they didn't stop fighting last year. They just weren't good enough to beat teams consistently. They went out on defense, got some guys, and on offense, and now they're a much different Mississippi State ball club.
More than 60 new players on this roster. Jacorian Sewell with a good carry on first down right up the middle. That'll move the chains after a gain of 12.
I love what his offensive coach, Jermaine Gale, said about Sewell. Really good tool bag. He's got a lot in that tool bag, power and speed. You can see it there on display.
Mississippi State did not allow a touchdown in the first half last week. Here's a shot down the far side. Got an open man, and it's picked off. Diego Brumfield grabbed it off the face mask of the intended receiver. Jarvis Rush had a chance maybe for a touchdown. Couldn't haul it in. Brumfield gets the interception. Helmet came off. Flags went flying. Tolbert can't throw it much better than that.
He can't. He had a lot of drops in that Northwestern State game, but Brumfield with the huge play last week of the game-saving touchdown tackle,
yes,
and then that the goal line stance. But right here, you got to catch that football. Jarvis Rush is reaching back and not giving himself the best chance, and Brumfield just says, "Okay, let me have it." The flag comes when his helmet is off. He can't run after that, or the face mask called. And that's why they stopped playing at that point once his helmet is off his head. But that's just a double whammy there.
That was actually something that was significant at the end of the first half last week. Mississippi State had a player whose helmet came off but continued to play on the defensive side. Ended up being an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Got Arizona State into field goal range, and they got on the board after being down 17-0. So we've seen the whole helmet off in Starkville thing in the last couple of weeks.
But I'll tell you, if you go back and watch his play was huge because he was on the edge, came back, and then now the big interception off of Jarvis Rush, which should have been a big play for Alcorn.
We have seen it both through the air and on the ground. Here's Anthony Evans. Slams on the brakes after crossing midfield. He's shoved out of bounds at the 47-yard line. How about another chunk play for Mississippi State?
When you have all the speed, you have Camario Taylor in the game, one of their young guys. They have packages for him, and they use him as a decoy. And Evans comes around the edge and has a wall of blockers.
34-yard play, and that counts as a pass. How about Camario Taylor taking a shot down the field? A touchdown! The freshman from Macon, Mississippi into the ball game. That is his first passing touchdown. That's one he's going to remember.
Yes, he is. And they really like what he has as a young player. Came here to every home game as a senior in high school. And this young man is going to be pretty special when he gets his opportunity.
Jeff Levy told us yesterday, as we asked, what's the plan for Camario Taylor? He said, you're going to see him. There's some packages. He's in those last two plays. He didn't tell us that he was going to draw up a 46-yard touchdown pass, though.
Well, we asked him, does he like being in that situation? He said, yeah, because it keeps him into the game. It keeps him focused. And that was a really nice job of play calling. Well, in Mississippi State, you have to have sudden change. So you get this with Brumfield. Comes off and just makes a nice play there. And then Camario Taylor with the dagger. You get down the field, Brennan Thompson again with a big play.
An explosive first quarter for Mississippi State. They played less than 7 minutes. Bulldogs have put 3 touchdowns on the board, aided by 1 turnover. Jeff Levy's ball club, and no signs of a hangover from last week's big win against Arizona State. Kick taken at the 5. Nico Sandifer, the return man for Alcorn State. And he's going to get it just across the 25-yard line.
This is what I love, Richard, about sudden change offense. The first play, Kamario Taylor goes over, so he's in the play, but he's not there. Long reverse, big play, and then you come right back. Similar play, give him the ball, and then he's able to throw it because they are all off. Even though those defenders are there, you got Brennan Thompson, who's one of the fastest guys in college football, and you got a guy that can sling it down to him. I love what Jeff Levy and his offensive staff did there. Two plays that built off of each other and allowed two huge explosives.
21 zip, Bulldogs in front. 7:53 to go, opening quarter. Jalen Tolbert threw one about as well as you can throw it, trying to hook up a Jarvis Rush, who could not hang on, resulted in an interception on the last drive. Proof that not all interceptions are created equally.
And you bring up a good point. When you watch this team, Alcorn, they have just not been able to kind of stay out of their own way at certain times. The first game, you saw a lot of drops and a lot of things like we saw in that, interceptions. But Jalen Tolbert played a lot better last week, and you thought it would carry over to this game.
One of the things we'll keep an eye on for Mississippi State is rushing defense. That's an area where they know they have got to be better. Last week, Arizona State, 251 rushing yards. Tolbert looking to make something happen with his feet, and there's not much room there. Now, in fairness, that 251 yards came on 51 rush attempts in that ball game.
Well, and they went a lot of 11 and 12 personnel in the second half. Two tight ends and just doing some duo and just running the football. And that's one thing that, you know, Coleman Hutzler said, we've got to be better because we put that on tape. You got to own it, right? The eye in the sky doesn't lie.
A year ago, Mississippi State gave up 200 or more rushing yards 6 times. Texas went for 198. UMass went for 199. Tolbert flush, still looking downfield, lets it fly. He's got a receiver, and it's incomplete. Tyron Warren couldn't hang on, and he was shoved out of bounds. Not sure it would have counted even if he had hauled it in, and that brings up 4th down. Yeah,
that defense is just really good to the football. And as a receiver, you know you're going to get hit. You might as well catch it. But they converged on him. This is the one thing that Mississippi State does a good job. Their guys get there fast. Javen Williams was one of the key guys there knocking that ball out. And over the top, Tanner Johnson as well.
Anthony Evans III is the return man for Mississippi State. Duval hits another end over end, very returnable punt. Look at all the green grass in front of Evans as he cuts back to the middle of the field. Trying to get to the sideline and get a block. And he is run out of bounds at about the 30, maybe the 29-yard line. That's twice Evans has flipped the field with a punt return.
They've been able to do it. You don't want to kick the hand because he is finding ways to make big plays. But you talk about the ability to strike quickly. Right away, Blake Shapen, second play, Jordan Mosley with the huge catch and score. And then a nice play by Boswell, who just had that whole drive. And then Kamario Taylor, who we expected to see, but we didn't know we were going to see this. Brennan Thompson said, hey, you want some of this? I'll give you some of this fast so you can give me that ball.
2 punt returns for Anthony Evans for a total of 84 yards. And Mississippi State in business again, start the drive inside the 30. That pass is complete. That's the tight end, Max Reese. Transfer from Eastern Michigan.
Well, Richard, when you have 30 yards before anybody gets to you, it makes it a lot easier for you to just take off.
Shapen hands it off, a burst up the middle for Devon Booth. Bulldogs inside the 10 once again. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line.
This offensive line is just leaning on this defense. It's been on the field the whole first quarter.
Gain of 16 on the carry that time for Booth. This time it's Shapen keeping it himself, and he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown for the Bulldogs quarterback.
One of the keys is you have to stay and have contained. Shapen knew he had that edge because he had been watching it. end to that side kept collapsing, and finally he called his number. So one thing he said he's going to do different this year, make sure when he has to get down, he has to get down. But if he needs to run it in, and you can see Coach asking him, because he got up a little gingerly just to make sure he's okay. You don't want your starter to get in any harm's way.
4 touchdowns for Mississippi State in the first 10 minutes. 3 plays, 27 yards, 58 seconds, capped off by a 6-yard touchdown run from Shapen. This was the play before.
Right there, double team on the edge, and you can see they come off, climb to the next level, so Davin Booth is able to find it. Now watch the end, coming down hard. Look, that's an easy one. That's like giving candy to a baby. Right there at the very end, did he bump knees? I'm not sure, but Coach asked him, hey, you okay? You got to make sure you're good. He said, no, Coach, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Almost looked like as he was walking off, he like stepped on a teammate's foot, kind of turned it a little bit, but all good for Blake Shapen.
You got to contain edge when you're playing a team like Mississippi State, but that run before set everything up, and then that just made it easy for Blake Shapen.
4 touchdown drives for Mississippi State, a combined 13 plays. 75, 29, 76, and 27 yards on the scoring drive. 28 points scored in 4 minutes and 14 seconds time of possession. Here's our Week 4 SEC football lineup. This is next weekend. It all begins next Saturday, 12:45 Eastern, with number 15 Tennessee hosting UAB, followed by these Bulldogs taking on Northern Illinois on the SEC Network. Then it's number 3 LSU hosting Southeastern Louisiana in Death Valley. And bonus game, number 7 Texas at home at DKR against Sam Houston. That's at 8 on the SEC Network. Plus, each game also available on the all-new ESPN app. Tylen Citizen in the game as a running back for Alcorn State. They'll give it to Citizen, and there is nowhere for him to go on first down.
And Nick Mitchell, one of the key guys in that interior. SEC co-defensive player of the week versus Arizona State. Just, great student of the game, understands it, and just makes plays. You're going to see a lot of 40.
Coleman Huntsler, defensive coordinator, told us yesterday for Mississippi State that the depth that they added in the offseason has allowed him not to have to play guys like Nick Mitchell as many snaps. He said they're playing 70 snaps a game a year ago when you talk about Nick Mitchell and Isaac Smith. He said, I wanted to give them a break, but I had to keep them in.
Well, he also talked about that defensive front, and they hate to lose Will Whitson, who got hurt early last week.
Yeah.
But they have Bledsoe, who's Bingley Jones. They've got some guys up front that have come in and just given them an opportunity for the linebackers to flow to the football, because those are big bodies that allow them to just play fast and free.
See Coleman Huntsler there, second year as defensive coordinator. Spent a couple of years at Ole Miss, worked alongside Jeff Levy. Was at Alabama before he came to Mississippi State. A flag comes in. Javen Williams in coverage there for Mississippi State, but may have been a little early.
Yeah, the transfer out of Kennesaw State was draped on the receiver there.
Pass interference. Defense. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
A much-needed first down for Alcorn State.
Watch 15 down outside the numbers. He's just grabbing and holding the whole time. Receiver can't get off.
Citizen stays in the backfield with his quarterback, Jalen Tolbert. He's a sophomore from Tucson, Louisiana, and a transfer from Lafayette. Give is to Citizen, trying to find room, and there's just not much there. Stacked at the 30-yard line and then driven back.
I mean, look at how many defenders are there. And that's just shows you what execution and film study looks like. But they're able to fly to the football because they don't let the linemen move, and then they just flow and field. It's 5 or 6 defenders right there waiting for the ball carrier.
Citizen on the carry. Picks his way for 4, maybe 3. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for the Braves.
I like to play about 3 different running backs. Citizen is one, Davis, and then Sewell. Sewell just came back into the ballgame.
I should correct myself. Citizen did not transfer from Lafayette, but rather the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I didn't see the UL on there. I was like, okay, I'm not sure. A lot of different ways to pronounce that one. 3rd and 6. Tolbert to the air. He's got a man. That's a completion and a 1st down. Elijah Griffin hauls it in. The senior from St. Louis, transferred into Alcorn State from Garden City Community College.
Said he's been practicing really well. They expected him to show up today. It's a really nice throw by Tolbert. When he has time, he can complete those. You saw the one to rush. That should have been a big play. Right there, just finding your guy on that quick slant, hitting him nice and easy. Got to get some momentum against this defense, because the defense knows they can just come off. If you can't run the football, you become one-dimensional, and Mississippi State knows that.
Alcorn State before this drive was 0 of 2 on 3rd down. They've converted a couple here, one by penalty and one through the air. Flag comes in on the play after the burst that would be enough for a first down.
Offside. Defense, number 44, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, why would they take the penalty?
Replay, 1st down.
There we go.
Yeah, I was thinking, like.
I think they might take the 11-yard run for a 1st down.
Yeah. Brandon Jennings basically gives them a free play, and they take advantage of it. 44.
Top of the screen there.
Top of your screen. On the very edge. He's already just lined up in the neutral zone. Defensive linemen always want to get a little edge, but you can't go that far.
And so they did not give enough for the 1st down. Hold on, if you don't accept the penalty, it should be 2nd down. It should be second and 1.
Yeah.
You either take the 5-yard penalty and replay the down, or you decline the penalty and it goes to 2nd down. Even though the yard markers on the field are still showing 1st down, it should be 2nd down. But now they've gone back and marked off the penalty. So it's going to be 1st and 5 from midfield.
But they took away the yards, which.
So you'd rather have 1st and 5 than 2nd and 1. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the decision that Cedric Thomas makes. They go back to the air. And now it's going to be 2nd and 1 from just shy of the 45-yard line. It's almost like we've been here before.
Yeah, this is deja vu all over again. Cole Williams with a nice catch. But again, we were here before and we're back at the same place.
Coming up on a minute to play in this opening quarter that has been dominated by Mississippi State. By far the best offensive drive of Alcorn in the game. There is a 1st down on a short run for Decorian and Sewell. DJ Reed on the tackle.
Coleman Hustler said it too. He was like, hey, they have some big dudes up front. They are big, but they can't always move effectively. And he said, we're not going to just stand there and let them hit us. We're going to move and come off and do the things that we do. And this defensive line has done a pretty good job. That's the one thing they want to improve on, though. Run game. That's going to be something that they focus on, especially heading in against this game, Northern Illinois, and then Tennessee.
3rd 1st down of the drive for Alcorn State. Tolbert with time. Over the middle of the field. He's got a man, and it's hauled in. Amarian Blakes climbs the ladder. And Alcorn State takes it down close to the 20-yard line. They're actually going to spot it at the 23. So a big play to end the 1st quarter for Alcorn State. Knocking on the door, trying to get on the scoreboard. Right now, they are deep in a hole, down 28-0 to Mississippi State. Bulldog offense explosive in the first 15 minutes.
got some momentum coming in down here. You also talked a lot about wanting to make plays on this big of a stage for your guys. What do you need to finish this one out?
Yeah, we just got to execute at a high level. I think the jitters are starting to wear off now. The crowd is doing an amazing job, helping them. And so we just got to settle down and execute at a high level.
Thank you so much, and best of luck going into the next half.
Thank you, Stephanie. Cedric Thomas looking for his team to try and finish this off and capitalize. That was the 9th play of the drive, 55 yards, and closing in on 6 minutes, eating off the clock on this drive for Alcorn State. Corian Sewell in the backfield. You see Coach Thomas in his 2nd season as the head man at Alcorn State. Time to throw, and this pass is incomplete. Receiver may have gone out of bounds. Saw a couple of hats come off by officials.
And that's one, as a receiver, you fight to stay in bounds. You can't let the defensive back just push you off, push you out, because if you do, they throw the hat, and you see the officials, hats come down. That means you can't come back in and be the first guy to catch the ball. Almost an interception.
Isaac Smith had a chance there. He's been a tackling machine the last couple of years. Had 127 tackles a year ago. Flag comes in, and that may be a substitution infraction.
Legal substitution. 12 men in formation. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So 3rd down just got a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, Andre Barton runs off late. Left tackle. They had him. They do some packages with their front guys, and maybe miscommunication as to who needed to be in there.
Third and 12. Alcorn State's got to take this across the 13-yard line. Tolbert had a lane to run, decided to dump it off instead. Sewell on the reception. Darian Gillette on the tackle for Mississippi State, and a 4th down coming up as the field goal team will come on for Alcorn State.
Tolbert always looks to pass the football, and he tried to get rid of it. Sewell catches it, but they converge on him really quickly.
Brandon Wilcox is the kicker. This a 37-yard attempt. Two for 3 on the season. Make it 2 for 4. Left that one out wide right. The senior from Ocala, Florida, could not convert. 13:33 left in this opening half. Mississippi State in front. Pretty good first quarter for Mississippi State. They ran 13 offensive plays, racked up 222 yards and 4 touchdowns. And remember, 84 yards in punt returns as well.
31.7% of your plays were touchdowns.
Good math.
Yeah.
That's that UCLA education coming in strong.
We don't play football anymore, so at least we got to be smart. I didn't say that out loud, but I said it out loud.
I'm afraid you said it out loud, my friend. Fluff Bothwell on the carry there. Picked up 6 on first down. Yeah. This drive starting from the 20 for Mississippi State.
A little bit of a tempo edge right here to kind of get that defensive line off kilter. Bothwell just takes advantage of it, and that's the one thing they want to do. Run the football, get that first down, and keep things moving.
Tobias Hinton on the tackle, made his first start tonight. Only a 3-down lineman front. Chapin fakes it, now pressure. He goes down hard, it's incomplete, went low there. Applying the pressure that time was Cedric Roberts. He came untouched.
He got there quick, because at first it looked like Blake had some time, and then watch 8, flash. Seydou Traore was supposed to be there, but he couldn't get over. So 8 on 8 crime wasn't good right there.
2nd and 10. Bothwell on the ground straight ahead. He was a shoestring tackle away from turning that into a big one. Cedric Roberts making the play there as well. He had 7 tackles last week. Been involved early tonight.
Yeah, he's really playing well. And watch here on the edge, comes out again, and just Bothwell was going to frame up Bakari McCall, but nice job by Cedric Roberts.
Third down play for Mississippi State. It's their first third down of the game. Chapin complete across the 40. Anthony Evans, the third, made the catch and then paid for it. He took a big shot at the end of that one.
Yeah, this Alcorn State defense really flying to the football now. It's on fourth and short. Mississippi State gonna go for it, or appears that they're gonna go for it.
From their own 41. Jeff Levy kind of gave the hand signal when they didn't jump. Everybody sit still. Looks like he may send the punting unit out for the first time tonight.
They really spread you out too, so they can identify interior if they want to run. Either they're going to call a timeout or delay a game.
First charge timeout, Mississippi State.
Mississippi State leading it 28-0. The punt coming up after this timeout. Mississippi State in front of Alcorn State. Let's go downstairs and check in with Stephanie.
And you can see Coach Levy has continuously put confidence in his team after the struggles of last year, after the massive win that brought the program back. He said it's just another Monday, the biggest Monday that they've had, just given the stakes. But he said you got to keep the emotions in check. That's something we saw in Blake as well right after that game. He said emotions were high, but you could tell in the tone of his voice it was a pretty relaxed sense. But this is something that they have to do to manage the game, and they have a lot of momentum, but he's continuously keeping them in check.
I bet the Frosted Place tasted a little bit better this past Monday morning.
Yeah, I bet you they did. Had to.
Our offense is back on the field for Mississippi State from their own 41, a fourth down play, and not yet a timeout taken by Alcorn State.
Second charge timeout, Alcorn State. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Our next True South is coming up on Tuesday night at 8 Eastern right here on the SEC Network. John T. Edge travels around Charleston, South Carolina. Great food city. Cuban Cafe Mexicano, Verns and Bertha's. Meeting the locals, eating good food, and talking about the South. It's going to be a great show at one of the most popular tourist destinations in the country. It's True South Tuesday night.
Charleston is a great food town.
Ooh.
Great food town.
And not just on King Street.
No, it's almost everywhere.
All right, so Mississippi State takes a timeout. They talk about it, decide to go for it. Alcorn State takes a timeout, perhaps wanting to get a heavy package on the field. If you get the right look here, do you take a shot? They'll hand it off to Bothwell, who initially would have been stopped short, but drags defenders across the line to gain for a first down for the Bulldogs offense.
Bothwell does not ever go down with the first guy hitting it. That was a nice job. And to answer your question, yeah, you can if they don't have enough in the box. But they had everybody in the box and still gave it to Bothwell.
Here's Fluff Bothwell again across midfield and still dragging defenders down across the 45 to the 43-yard line.
He came in averaging 4.3 on the season, but today, every time he's gotten the ball, he has just really done a nice job of keeping those legs moving.
13 on that carry for Bothwell. Brennan Thompson on the catch.
Look at the cushion they give Brennan Thompson, because they know he's so fast that generally he's going to run by you, and he runs so hard on those stop routes. It just makes it difficult if you're a defensive back.
Like, do you go big play or death by 1,000 cuts? Mississippi State making some substitutions there. They'll give Alcorn a chance to sub if they want to. They will not. Another first down for Mississippi State. Chapin. Now he's going to carry it. Slides. He's safe at the 32.
Well, that's one thing he wanted to improve on, he said, when he was not there. I think he hit his knee or bumped something when he went to the end zone the last time. Nothing major, but just enough You can see him when he's walking back. He said he's going to protect himself better this year and make sure he gets through stays healthy.
Play action, Shapen hit as he lets it go, and this ball is intercepted. Just kind of a wounded duck on the pick, Bakari McCall. And Blake Shapen took a monster shot from Cedric Roberts, who's made some big plays for this Alcorn State defense here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Cedric Roberts has just said, okay, look, I'm going to be a one-man wrecking crew. If you're not going to block me, I'm going to make sure I get in there. And that gave Bakari McCall every opportunity to get that ball just sitting in the air. Watch 8 again. He's going to flash. Comes late on the delayed blitz, and they're not picking him up. That's something you're going to have to solve. But then what happens is Shapen can't drive that ball down the field, and Bakari McCall is there to intercept it. They found a little chink in the armor, and that's the one thing with Cedric Roberts. He does a nice job of disguising that he's going to cover and then comes late.
Good first down run, but the ball came out, and it is still loose. Who's got it? Recovered by Mississippi State. So the Bulldogs turn it over, but they get it right back. Nick Mitchell with the nose to the ball. He came up with it.
Whenever you get any kind of momentum, you got to take advantage of it. Sewell out front, running the ball well. But nice job of the tackle by Javen Williams of knocking that ball out 15, and then Nick Mitchell with the big recovery. Watch 15 come up, and he's going to put a hat on a hat. Boom, ball comes out, and you also have someone coming from behind as well. But that is what you have to do. So if you're getting hit, you got to make sure you maintain ball security.
So Citizen couldn't hang on there. Nick Mitchell comes up with the fumble recovery, so he gets to ring the big bell on the sideline. Devon Booth back into the game. We've seen a lot of Bothwell. This time, though, it's Thompson on the carry. Nope, check that. Evans on the carry. Tackled by Ricardo Butler.
They like to get, and Levy likes to get a lot of his guys. Yeah, look, you get a turnover, you get the bell, you get the ring it.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. Shapen on the quarterback keeper, takes a big shot, kind of delivers the shot to Brent Barnes.
He said he had to work on just making sure he doesn't do that, but right there he said, I have no choice. They do a lot with jet sweeps and the motions and getting guys involved, and it really, your defense has to really stay on point.
Shapen, little sidearm delivery. That one is complete to Max Reese at the 20-yard line. That's going to be a loss on the play.
This tight end group, a few transfers. Max Reese from Eastern Michigan.
Loss of 4 on the play. 2nd and 14 here for Mississippi State. Bulldogs with touchdowns on their first 4 possessions of the game. Good penetration there by Stamarian Edwards. Preseason first team all SWAC. A year ago, he had 91 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss last year.
Again, Edwards just flying inside. Zach Owens, the right guard, just touches him, and Edwards is all over the field, makes things happen, fastest guy on the defense. We hadn't called his name a lot, but you knew he was going to play a role in this game today.
3rd and 16 for Mississippi State. Devon Booth at the bottom of your screen, Shapen with time, over the middle's got a man. It's a walk-in touchdown for Anthony Evans.
There was a lot of confusion in that secondary even before the play began, and the crossing route will get you every time. No pressure, and Shapen just says, okay, I'm going to get it to you. But before that, the defensive backs were pushing each other on where they needed to go. There was a lot of confusion on that particular play, but nice job by Anthony Evans.
Saw Anthony Evans' head kind of swiveled and left and back to the right. It's like, where is everybody?
Well, when you have confusion, Blake Shapen will pick you apart. Anthony Evans running in the middle screen right there, the crossing. I'm going to take it in for 6 because we're scoring today. We're scoring today, y'all.
Starkville, Mississippi. It has been all Bulldogs so far. Mississippi State in front of Alcorn State 35-0 with 7:20 to play in the second quarter. 3 touchdowns through the air, 2 of them from Blake Shapen. Kamario Taylor has a touchdown pass. A couple of rushing scores for the Bulldogs as well. How about Blake Shapen so far tonight?
Well, right away, he's able to show you Jordan Mosley. We're going to find you, and then, oh, defensive end, you're not there. No one home. I'm going to take it in for 6 myself. And then Anthony Evans. Got the defense off kilter. Nice job with his eyes, looking away, and then coming to Anthony Evans for 6.
Blake Shapen, 9 of 12, so 75%, $167, 2 touchdowns, and had the interception when he got hit as he let it go.
Only his 2nd interception on the year. He's protected the football very well.
Sewell dropped in the backfield. Tony Mitchell, junior from Alabaster, Alabama, came to Mississippi State from East Mississippi Community College.
Really off the edge, man. Unblocked. Tony Mitchell with speed. Long, 6'1", 215. They got some guys in that secondary that really are going to make some noise this year.
On the ground, but nothing there. That's another lost yardage play. Jamil Burrows.
88 shows you 6'3", 330 pounds. One of those transfers from Miami. Just taking up a lot of space.
Got to take this one out across the 35-yard line. Tolbert under pressure, hit as he lets it go. Is it a fumble or an incomplete pass? Right now, Mississippi State's got it. No signal yet. That's Nave Sanders with the football. Referee Stephen Robinson and some of his crewmates discussing this one.
A lot of pressure on Tolbert.
Still waiting for an announcement. We'll get another look at this in just a moment.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Intentional grounding. Offense, number 11. There was no eligible receiver in the area. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Loss of down. 4th down.
Interested to see this one again.
Pressure
on Tolbert.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there. It looks like he does flip the ball out. But they're saying there's no one there. Right as he's going down, he throws it, goes right into the ground.
Sometimes I'll give the quarterback the benefit of the doubt if he's getting hit.
Yeah.
But there was nobody in the area.
And I thought they were going to get him for not getting it past the line of scrimmage also, but nonetheless.
Duval. It's a wobbly spiral this time, and Evans once again going to try to make a play in the return game. He's had a big night doing this, and he'll give Mississippi State good field position once again. Going to start right around the 45-yard line. Football going on all over the place. 40 yards on the punt, 13 on the return. Here's our all-new SEC Network Fall Football Weekday lineup. From Monday reactions to Friday previews, we got you covered throughout the season. Every show also available streaming on the all-new ESPN app. Tennessee and Georgia tied up late. late in that ball game in Knoxville. 3 big games happening tonight involving SEC teams. Mississippi State starts this one out on the ground, and that's Johnny Daniels into the game. First carry of the night for Johnny Daniels, the senior from Crystal Springs.
Johnny Daniels wants to get involved in the rush party.
Vanderbilt, South Carolina going on tonight. Daniels, a little patient run there, picks his way down to the 35, close to a first down. Down on the Bayou, LSU in Florida, and then Ole Miss and Arkansas at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Daniels upended right at the 35-yard line. It's going to depend on the spot.
Dylan Crowell.
Officials timeout for an injury to the defense.
That's Christopher Wally that is down on the play. Right on his back and moving around. That big collision, you hope that's a play where he just got the air knocked out of him. Well, you look at the scoreboard right now and you wonder how it got to this point. Here's one of the reasons. Mississippi State has started with great field position. This is the 4th drive for the Bulldogs that has started in Alcorn State territory.
When you have the ability to be explosive, but you also have the ability to have a great return game, that puts you in position where you can just take advantage of a team that you have better athletes and you have more of them. These guys are still fighting, but there's a lot that you can do, and if you're kicking the ball to a team like Mississippi State, you've got to be very aware of the return game and everything else.
State's gone for it on 4th down once tonight, and they have converted. Bothwell in the backfield alongside Blake Shapen. It's Bothwell on the carry, moves the pile forward for a Mississippi State first down.
We haven't talked enough about that interior. 75 Jacoby Jackson, 72 Cannon Boone, the center, and 52 Zach Owens. 75, if he puts his hands on you, you're not moving. He's gonna maul you, so to speak.
Shapen, pump fake, lets it fly. Overshot Brennan Thompson. Double move on the outside, little wheel route there for Brennan Thompson.
Brennan and Shapen both know they had each other. Brennan like, ah. Usually overthrow that guy.
2nd and 10 at the Alcorn State 31-yard.
He's coming out fast and furious, and that out and up just gets the defensive back. Ricardo Butler just couldn't quite get it to him.
2nd and 10. Shapen unloads quickly this time. That's San Francisco McGee on the catch. He's down to the 25-yard line. Third down and 4 here for this Mississippi State offense. 4 minutes until halftime. Bothwell on the ground. He's got it to the outside. Bothwell to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone for a Mississippi State touchdown. 25-yard touchdown run for Fluff Bothwell.
There's no fluff in Bothwell right there, and I'll tell you this. On the replay, you're going to see a huge block by 75, Jacoby Jackson.
This only play is a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike. Taunting, offense, number 24.
Perhaps celebrated a bit too much. 12 carries, 93 yards, and 2 scores tonight for Bothwell.
Try for down.
Bothwell has run the ball effectively tonight. Said came in with a 4.3-yard average, but has really hit the hole effectively and just been good on that interior, on those interior runs.
Left-footed Point after try, good for Kyle Ferry. That's the 6th time that he's done that in this first half.
Watch 75 to Kobe Jackson. Usually he just not one of those guys that pulls all the time, but watch 75 on the left side of your screen. Boom, and then he's able to just knock the edge, and they close everything off, and that allows Bothwell to get around. Good blocking down the field as well.
Doesn't always have to be a pancake.
No, but it can be a spin cake. He hit the guy and he spun it, and you can see Bothwell again. Just a nice job, complete effort. Usually when you get those long runs, and I think that's where he got the penalty, the spin of the ball.
So that was a 7-play, 44-yard scoring drive. 2 minutes, 2 seconds off the clock. Mississippi State. Well, what if there was any question about how engaged this football team would be on the heels of that emotional win last Saturday night? Questions answered.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, this is the one question I ask coaching staffs all the time. How do you keep guys focused? Well, they're showing me they're focused by how they're playing.
And in fairness, when a team went 2-10 a year ago and has endured the heartache that this Mississippi State program has done, I don't know that you've got guys that are taking for granted how good it feels to win.
Point well taken. And I think that's what you look at. You still, though, after such a big win when you haven't had in a while, it's easy to put in the work but not really do the mental part of the work that you need to do.
So because of the 15-yard penalty, Mississippi State kicks from the 20. Sandifer on the return, trying to make a couple of guys miss. Boy, that's really good coverage. Alcorn going to have to start this drive short of the 25.
That's the second big play by Stewart on the special teams game. He had that first big hit early in a return, and that play right there just shows you the hustle and the effort. And what you said, guys still playing. Cliff Odom is the special teams coach. I played against Cliff when he was at Miami and I was in him. I know he's going to get after those guys to keep going. He was a tough player, and I can see it in his special teams unit.
3:44 until the half. Alcorn State. Tennessee trying to kick a field goal to win it at the end of regulation and missed it wide right. Little dump out pass. That's Damian Jones, but with a pursuit by this Mississippi State defense has been outstanding. Smith there, Jalen Smith, Tennessee transfer.
I love to talk about when you go shopping. Do you go to Costco or do you go somewhere you know what you're going to get? They've got some guys this year in a transfer portal that can really, really play, and they did it the right way. Got after them and understood who they needed for this defense.
To the air, that's a completion to Jones.
Because you hear so often, the game has changed and this and that, but you just got to figure out. I mean, when you have Mike McIntyre in your staff, you have Paul Rhodes, you've got a lot of other guys that are around this program that understand what it looks like. That's what you want to do if you're Mississippi State.
Third down play here. Tolbert with times able to complete it. That's a first down for Alcorn State. Jacorian Sewell on the catch out of the backfield. Dwight Lewis ran him out of bounds.
Nice job by Tolbert of just dumping it to him, getting it to him where he can do some work with it.
Gain of 11 on the pitch and catch. You mentioned a couple of names there that are additions to the Mississippi State staff this past offseason. Not as on-field coaches, but as analysts. You had Jeff Levy add Mike McIntyre, former head coach, defensive coordinator a bunch of places, and Paul Rhodes, former head coach as well. And Coleman Hutzler loves that he's got those guys to lean on. 2 minutes till halftime. Coleman Hutzler readily admitted that the defense wasn't good enough a year ago. There was no hiding from that, and it was interesting because of how bad they were. And a lot of it was personnel related. There was a ton of pressure from Mississippi State fans that Jeff Levy needed to make a change. He needed to go get an experienced defensive coordinator. We asked Jeff Levy about that yesterday, and he said, Absolutely not. Wasn't happening. I was in this building every day. I knew what he was dealing with. And one of the things that the defense needed was stability.
Yeah. When you have your coach say that and mean that.
Shot down the field, got a chance for a big play just beyond the arms and the hands of Tyron Warren.
You know, and I mean, you can feel it in the room when both of those guys were talking. It made the hair on the back of my neck stand up because I've been around football a long time, and I've seen head coaches that have to cave to the pressure of the outside. Jeff Levy didn't do that, and I respect that to the nth degree because if they know what's happening inside and they know that they need better players, and that loyalty right there is always good when you can have it and keep your staff stable and moving in the right direction.
30 new players for Mississippi State on the defensive side from a year ago. Flag comes in. Tolbert early there could have gone to his safety valve. He had Sewell looking for a bigger play, and then you probably get a hold.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. And I think the other thing, when you talked about it, Mike McIntyre.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Paul Rhodes. They both of these guys, Levy and Hutzler, were at Alabama. Nick Saban did that all the time. He's going to bring in guys that can help you. And if you have analysts that are former coaches that can really do a good job to help you understand, hey, here's some things I can help you with. Same thing that Clark Lee is doing with Jerry Kill. You look around the SEC and around the country, you can see that happening because you have to have somebody that can tell you this is what you need to do, not what you want to do.
This one complete to Jarvis Rush. Breaks a tackle, stays on his feet across the 35. Let's go downstairs and check in with Stephanie.
Yeah, you guys were talking about this defense. This was a program, guys, remember, that worst in the SEC last year. This program went just 2-10. That's a pretty tough job, as you guys were mentioning, for defensive coordinator Colin Hutzler to walk into every single day. But as you guys mentioned, he told us it's his responsibility. He took it upon himself, and he said that because of Coach Levy, it all goes back to him, the confidence he has in every individual, staff included, that he stayed committed to him. He kept all 10 toes all on the ground. Those were his words exactly. And it all runs deep, strictly through their head coach, who was able to sustain that from that tough year last year, bringing it into a dominant performance coming into
Because of the helmet off on the offensive player under 2 minutes, this applies for a 10-second runoff. Alcorn State will not use their timeout. Game clock operator, please set the game clock to 1 minute, 25 seconds, and it will start on the ready for play.
All right, so the clock stopped because there was an offensive player down for Alcorn State. They elect to take the 10-second runoff, saves that last timeout.
Alcorn State will use their timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. Please put 1 minute, 35 seconds on the game clock. Timeout, Alcorn State.
Yes, sir, we will do that. We'll add 10 seconds back, and we'll use that last timeout.
Oh.
So a timeout, a chance to talk about things for Alcorn State with the 3rd and 11 coming up here. Richard Cross, Charles Arbuckle, Stephanie Odie on the field tonight. Coming up at half, the famous Maroon Band. Still in their early season uniforms. It was hot kickoff tonight. Started into a nice evening, but right around 90 degrees, a little muggy.
Last night was the same way, and then once it cooled off, once the sun, because it's not as humid as it can be.
That's right.
You know, I know that being from Texas and living in the Carolinas.
Yes, sir.
But it was still warm when you got to wear this suit and tie.
Biggest band in school history, the famous Maroon Band. Over 350 strong. Wow. 3rd and 11. Tolbert has the pocket collapse around him, going to run. Doesn't do this a lot, but he has a good run there. Goes down about 2 yards short of the first down. You certainly would assume that Alcorn State would go for it. And when you slide, it's where the slide starts. And that's why he was a couple of yards short.
A little bit nicked up.
Oh, they'll bring the punt team on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering why they were letting the clock run, because I thought they were going to go for it on 4th down. But instead, they bring the punt team out. Now you have to be careful here because seen Anthony Evans with some huge punt returns already today.
And in a different game scenario, Jeff Levy takes a timeout there and saves those 20 or so seconds. Short, wobbly punt, but it's going to be not returnable. Anthony Evans has really hurt Alcorn State in the return game tonight. So Mississippi State will have it at the 35 with 38 seconds, a 17-yard punt with no return. We have seen the Bulldogs score quickly tonight. Bulldogs have had 2 scoring drives tonight in less than the amount of time that is still on the clock. They are content to put it on the ground to start this drive. 8 of 5.
Johnny Daniels, again, the rotation of guys. We've seen Booth, we've seen Daniels, we've seen Bothwell. Mississippi State will be content to just let this run out. Good first half for them. They needed that. They wanted to come back and see how they could play. And this Alcorn State showed a few flashes, but just not quite enough against this Mississippi State Bulldogs team.
348 yards in the first half for Mississippi State. This offense clicking on all cylinders. Coming up at the half, we're going to send you to our SEC Network studios. Dari Noka, Chris Dorick, Benjamin Watson going to bring you all the scores and highlights from today's SEC action. Stephanie Odie on the field right now has Jeff Levy.
Coach, you guys have not lost that momentum from last week and getting the ground game going as well. What did you see that you liked the most here?
Yeah, I think we did. We had a good mix. We were real sloppy at times, especially in the red zone. We had to turn over because of the pressure. We got to be better protectionally, offensively to help us in the pocket. Defense done a great job creating 2 takeaways, which we're going to need that in the second half.
You guys have kept that speed as well. What do you need to see as you guys get in this rotation coming in the half?
Yeah, I just want to see all the guys that are about to go play, go execute and have fun and go take advantage of opportunity.
Keep having fun, Coach. Best of luck. Thank you.
A dozen years since Mississippi State has had this big of a halftime lead. We've still got another half to play. We'll send you to the studio right after these messages. Dari, CD, and Benjamin Watson on the other side. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Halftime in Starkville, 42-0 our score. Mississippi State in front of Alcorn State. What a day in the SEC. Bama over Wisconsin big this morning. Oklahoma, rare trip on the road to Philadelphia. They beat Temple handily. Auburn escapes on the Plains with a 31-15 win over South Alabama. Mizzou big over Louisiana. A wild one in Knoxville. Tennessee had a chance to win it with a field goal at the buzzer. Missed. Overtime. Georgia escapes. They move to 3-0. And Texas with a 27-10 win over Utah. Big games happening tonight all around the league. We'll keep you up to date on those scores as well. You know who else will keep you up to date with the scores? After Vandy and South Carolina on the SEC Network, it's SEC Football Final with Dari Noka, Chris Dorick, and Benjamin Watson. They'll take you through the biggest stories of the day and break down all the games. Also, all available on the all-new ESPN app. 42-0 our score in Starkville. More action coming up when we come back. You're watching the SEC on ESPN tonight in Starkville, Mississippi at Davis-Wade Stadium. It has been all Bulldogs, 42-0 as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Alongside Charles Arbuckle, I'm Richard Cross. We're glad to be with you tonight as night falls over Davis-Wade Stadium. Stephanie Odie's on the field. We'll check in with her in just a moment. Jeff Levy told us he wanted to see execution. He wanted to see his team play fast, and he wanted to see them play clean. Check, check, and check.
Yeah, all the checks to the box, or E or D, whichever one you want. And they've done a really nice job of attacking this game today.
It did not take long once they got going. Blake Shapen missed on a deep shot first play of the game, so went right back to the air and hooked up with Jordan Mosley.
Well, when you have an opportunity to do that, then you come with Mario Taylor in a little razzle-dazzle. Brennan finally got his, and then Shapen around the edge. Nice job.
Finally, it took like 4 minutes before he got one. Bulldog defense was ready for the challenge as well. Big interception when the opportunity presented itself. And just tough to get anything going for Alcorn State.
Go ahead and fumble the ball there and then able to return and get it back. But Mississippi State just really getting after him all game long.
Alcorn State won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so Mississippi State will kick things off. 348 yards in the first half, nearly 10 yards per play, and 42 points, second most in a half since 1950. That was even before my friend Charles Arbuckle was born. On this day, but not in 1950. Happy birthday, buddy.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good to be working with you and Stephanie on my birthday.
This one into the end zone. Let's check in downstairs with Stephanie Odie.
Well, guys, this coaching staff is not only training these guys this hard, they had me running sprints. I was trying to find defensive coordinator Coleman Holtzler, and we weren't able to find him. But we did talk to him earlier this week about how they celebrate and how they motivate the guys on the defense with all the struggles they had. That turnover cowbell that you guys saw, they get to ring that, but they also have some merchandise they get to bring in as well. They have this motto where it says, ball out, and I did hear them chanting that as they came out of the tunnel.
10 minutes on the clock as we begin the third quarter. A mutual agreement between the two teams in conjunction with the game officials before the game began. NCAA rules do allow this, and so certainly an official game and everything else. But both teams agreeing it was a decision that they weren't going to make until halftime, depending on how the game was going. Decided that 10-minute quarters in the second half was the way to go.
Offense, number 67, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, and both of these ball clubs don't want to come out of the game with any injuries. You want to make sure your guys stay fresh. With 67 there on the edge. Yeah, he grabbed him and held him and just kept holding him. Cameron Rogers.
Corey and Sewell in the backfield alongside Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert had a couple of really nice throws in the first half. One in particular that ended up being a Diego Brumfield interception. Just through the hands of Jarvis Rush. Here's Tolbert with time, throws it underneath. That one is complete to Damian Jones out across the 20.
Sometimes he'll hold it just a little long, and to me, that's an opportunity there. You get it out to the back and let him go. If you hold it too long, you get yourself in harm's way. You've been pressured, pushed around, and everything coming after you. I can only imagine what he's seeing in his eyes when he's trying to read that defense.
5 back there, so 2nd and 15, and he swings it out to Sewell.
And kind of back to the same thing. They had that before. He didn't want it, and that time Sewell was there, able to catch it. Minimal gain.
Just a yard. So 3rd and 14 for Alcorn State, opening possession of the second half. Bulldog fans ringing responsibly tonight as they stop the cowbells before the snap. Tolbert lets it fly, and it's incomplete, intended for Jarvis Rush. Dwight Lewis III in coverage that time. He was kind of waiting back, and it was almost like Rush turned into to the defender there.
Yeah, he had to, because Lewis had a beat on it, and Rush just said, okay, I need to go break this up.
The last punt that Alcorn State had, they kicked it away from Anthony Evans. He stands at his own 39-yard line. They did that because he He had a huge first half in the return game. Flag comes in, movement before the kick. Problem in kicking
False
away
start.
from it.
Offense, number 20. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Problem in kicking away from him, though, was the fact that they only kicked it 17 yards.
It was like my chip sometimes when I duff it. That's what it almost looked like.
I want to hit a iron off the tee here instead of getting wild with the driver, and then you hit it 6 inches behind the ball.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So now Duval all the way back from his own 2-yard line.
He's trying to keep it low so his guys can get down there, but the returner still has slightly a chance.
Evans thought about it a couple of times. Actually went with a kind of heady play after the Mississippi State with a good field position after a 48-yard punt. Get all of ESPN college football all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. Pretty good sign the starting quarterback is done when he doesn't have his jersey or his shoulder pads on. Blake Shapen's night is done, and Luke Kromenhawk is into the game on this first offensive possession. We were led to believe that Kromenhawk and Kamario Taylor are going to alternate possessions in, if it ever got to this point. Also, Xavier Gayton in the game. He was the back there that carried it to the outside, picked up 4 yards there.
Kromenhawk, the transfer from Florida State. An opportunity to get in the game tonight.
Made a couple of starts a year ago at FSU, played week 1. Had 8 snaps against Southern Miss in the season opener. Brett Barnes on the tackle at the end of that run. Kromenhawk was 44 of 84 last year. 3 touchdowns, couple of interceptions. Also had 113 yards rushing. Kromenhawk to the air, and that is complete to Aiden Williams, transfer from Ole Miss. Williams, a decorated player from the high school ranks at Ridgeland High School. Levy told us just one of those guys that needed a fresh start. He has gotten that, and they are really excited about the future with Aiden Williams, number 11.
They like the wide receiver room. They think they've got some very talented individuals, and we're going to see some of the guys that haven't maybe played as much, but are going to get some opportunities this year.
Andrews on the tackle.
Real, looks like somebody's down.
Officials timeout for injury to the defense.
That is Jaquez Dew. With the break on the field, we will take one as well. 42-0, Mississippi State in front and threatening. One of the all-time greats, not just in Alcorn State history, but in college football history, Steve McNair, number 9, there from 91 to 94. That 1994 season was one for the record books as he lit it up, not just through the air, but with his feet. Went on to an incredible NFL career with the Tennessee Titans. Fan favorite, a man gone from us far too soon. One of the all-time greats. He was the Walter Payton Award winner, finished 3rd in the Heisman voting in that 1994 season. 4-time SWAC Player of the Year, 3-time Pro Bowler. 2003, he was co-MVP in the NFL.
Air McNair.
What a player. 42-0 our score. Got the Dynamite Band. They performed at halftime. A run up the middle. That's Gayton into the end zone for a Mississippi State touchdown. 25 yards, barely touched.
offensive line to just come off and do the things that they need to do there. And that hole was, I could have ran through that or hopped through it.
Okay. Still got the wheels?
No, they would have caught me, but it was big enough for me to even gallop through it.
5 plays, 63 yards, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. You're going to get a chance here to look at the blocking that Charles was talking about just a moment ago.
Yeah, when you get your offensive line and just come off the ball, look at the guard and tackle, and then the tight end falling down, and then the puller just able to take everybody out. There's no one there. No one there to touch Gayton until his people are there.
Has Mississippi State done more of that tonight, pulling linemen than you've seen previously?
They always do it. They always do it, but they've been real good, and we can talk about it when we come back.
49-0 Mississippi State running away with this one. Xavier Gayton with a 25-yard touchdown run to cap off a 5-play, 63-yard scoring drive. Took just 2 minutes and 10 seconds for Jeff Levy's fast-paced offense. Kickers for the Bulldogs may need the ice tub after this one.
Get a little
Marlon Hawk booms this one into the end zone, and Alcorn State will start things at the 25-yard line.
A little cold plunge for the kicker.
Boy, how about this night in SEC football? South Carolina and Vanderbilt tied at 7 in the first quarter. Florida with an early 3-0 lead in Baton Rouge. Ole Miss and Arkansas in a shootout in Oxford early. 7:52 to go in the second quarter. It's a 21-14 Ole Miss lead. Ole Miss playing without Austin Simmons, at least so far in this game. Trinidad Chambliss got the start in the game. Alcorn State going to go with their backup quarterback, Andre Washington. Washington, the junior from Hopkins, South Carolina, transferred in from Charlotte. Flag comes in at the snap. Thailand citizen in the game as the tailback.
By him clapping, he got one of his own guys to jump. Different cadence.
Offside. Defense, number 97. In the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He did get them also. But when you get a new cadence, you got guys that are trying to get off the ball quickly.
Line scrimmage is now the Alcorn State 30.
Missed it earlier. We're playing 10-minute quarters in this second half. That is allowable by NCAA rule if both coaches agree and the officials agree. Everybody was okay with that idea. This pass complete to Omarion Blakes.
High school, Washington. 5,800 yards, 62 touchdowns, and was a dual threat guy, 19 touchdowns rushing.
Ridgeview High School in South Carolina. Washington going to keep it himself. There's not much there. Got a yard, maybe 2. Tyler Lockhart, the freshman from Kilmichael, Winona High School, with the tackle. His 4th of the season.
Washington was at South Carolina State from 22 to 23 and then transferred in from Charlotte after last year.
Coaching change at Charlotte. Biff Poggi, the former coach at Charlotte, back on staff now at Michigan, and he is the acting head coach in Sharon Moore's absence.
Won the game today.
Won it big today. Flag comes in, a catch made. The 43-yard line.
Pass interference. Offense, number 80. 15-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Got a push off there by Jamar Cahoe. Got to back it up for the Braves.
Blocking, just pushing off.
wipes and catch off the board for Blakes.
I'll have a conversation about that. Hey man, you're messing with my stats.
First and 25 for the Braves here. Penalties on back-to-back plays. Washington going to take off and try to make a play with his feet. Gets it out to the 25, maybe the 26. And a flag comes in once again. The helmet comes off. I think that's Tyler Lockhart making a flag.
Personal foul, face mask, grabbing the helmet open, defense, 15 yards, automatic, first down. The ball carrier can stay in the game because the helmet came on because of a foul.
Normally your helmet has, if it comes off, you need to go out, but he doesn't have to because it's a penalty flag. Washington.
Yes, that is a face mask.
A lot of maroon jerseys that met him there.
So that wipes away the long down a distance. It's a fresh set of downs for the Braves. First and 10 from the 41. Citizen on the carry, not much there.
Talked about having some explosive plays, trying to do that against the Mississippi State ball club. They did a really nice job last week of not giving up explosives, but they were playing a team in Arizona State that was just saying, we're going to go 11 and 12, and we're going to, just try to impose our will. At the very end, they were able to make some plays and turn that game around.
Coleman Hutzler told us with the way that second half went, with Arizona State's dominant ground performance, he said, we bought that, now we got to own it. He said, we're going to get into league play, and we're going to see teams that have the capability of using 11 and 12 personnel, which is multiple tight ends, heavier line up front. He said, teams are going to make us prove that we can stop that.
You put something on tape, that's who you are. So then you have to figure out a way to erase that. And that's just about how you play. It starts tonight, but it's going to really carry over the next week. And then, of course, 2 weeks from now when they play Tennessee.
3rd and 7. Andre Washington trying to get away from pressure. He'll lob it down the field, and that is incomplete, or is it caught? Incomplete. Far sideline over in front of the Alcorn State bench.
This gives you a chance to see a lot of different players on both sides.
Elijah Cannon there, the redshirt freshman from Coconut Creek, Florida. Hunter Washington going to be back to return this punt for Mississippi State. Washington going to catch it on the bounce, trying to make a couple of guys miss, does, but can't get away from the third man. It's Brent Barnes that makes the tackle. Down in a hurry.
Walk-off interception last week. You can see this schedule here, how it lines up, man. And don't sleep on Northern Illinois. I don't know what their record is this year, but I saw Thomas Hammock as a player, now a coach. They're going to play hard no matter what. And then that Tennessee game is lurking. Then at Alabama, they get a bye. And then look at the rest of that schedule.
Home schedule in particular for Mississippi State. Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss to close out the year. It is daunting. If Mississippi State can get by Northern Illinois next week, a little pop pass for Grayson Harris. His first catch of the night. Mario Taylor is in the game at quarterback.
Seen Mario Taylor throw a touchdown pass earlier.
Now you see the running ability of Camario Taylor. He is a big guy, 6'4", 230. The freshman out of Noxubee County High School in Macon, Mississippi, not too terribly far down the road. 13-yard run there. His senior year, he came to all of Mississippi State's home games. Now, Taylor taking a shot deep down the field, and it is incomplete. That was intended for Grayson Harris, trying to have his second long touchdown pass of the night.
Number 8 dual threat quarterback in 2025, and they're going to do a lot with him in packages this year to keep him engaged and keep him, I mean, actually, you saw earlier his ability to run. He's going to be a real key component to this offense.
Talked about all the new faces on this Mississippi State team, about 60 from a year ago. Handoff is to Johnny Daniels to the outside. Markel McLaurin on the tackle for Alcorn State.
Nice tackle by McLaurin.
But a nice high school mix in that most recent recruiting class. You saw 3 of the ESPN 300, part of that signing class from a year ago. So it's a mix of transfer portal guys and high school players. State of Mississippi, good high school football state. Well, look at the ball come out of the hands of Camario Taylor. How about that frozen rope? There is a flag on the play.
On the move. That was impressive, even though it'll come back. I mean, he was able to get his shoulders around and fire a dart.
17-yard gain, but Mississippi State thinks this one's
There are
against
2 fouls on the play. Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 81. That penalty's declined. Ineligible touching. Illegal touching. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Also carries a loss of down. 4th down.
He must have been covered up.
Okay.
And he became an ineligible receiver because of that. Because of the way the formation was. Coach is upset because you got an opportunity there. Someone was not in the place that they need to be.
Omarion Blakes. First punt of the night for Mississippi State. This is a booming spiral. Going to go out of bounds, so no chance for Omarion Blakes to return this one. They will spot it at the 28. 9 seconds left in this third quarter. Mississippi State leading 49-0. A 51-yard punt with no return. Now you get to the point in the game where Coleman Hutzler's defense, they see that 0 on the scoreboard, and it's about keeping that shutout intact.
Well, and we talked a little bit about that. They were able to have shutouts in the first 2 halves of their first games. So if they can do it the whole time, you know that was on their calendar. That's what they wanted. That's probably what they circled here.
New running back in the game for Alcorn State, Cameron Stewart. You had movement and contact up front. Middle of that defensive line made contact. Was that the first move?
Offside with contact.
Yes.
Number 94, the defense. 5-yard penalty.
Read that well.
First down.
He was a little anxious.
Last shutout for Mississippi State back in 2017 against Charleston Southern. So we've got 10 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in this game. This one's complete to Damian Jones, but he fumbles it. Mississippi State able to scoop it. Dwight Lewis, the third. He'll take it inside the 5. He's wrestled down at the 3-yard line. A turnover after the catch. The 5th-year senior from Fairborn, Ohio. 34 yards on the scoop and return.
Cameron Stewart gives the ball up. Dwight Lewis III with a great job.
We go to the fourth quarter in Starkville at Davis Wade Stadium. Mississippi State leading at 49-0 and looking to add. part of the issue for Alcorn State tonight. This looked like it was going to be a big play for the offense, turned into a Diego Brumfield interception. Another positive play, but not able to hold on to it. Tylen Citizen coughed that one up. See this one come out of the hands of Damian Jones. And the return for Mississippi State by Dwight Lewis III all the way down to the 3-yard line. And that's where Mississippi State will start this fourth quarter. 3 turnovers forced, no points allowed, and only 111 yards for the Braves tonight. Kromenhoek back in at quarterback. He pulls it, keeps it himself, and Luke Kromenhoek will go into the end zone with a rushing touchdown. And Mississippi State crosses the 50-point barrier.
Well, not only the turnovers, but the points off turnovers. They really want to take the ball away and do a nice job once they get it. And that was another example of a good job blocking out front and allowing Kromenhoek to not be touched until he got to the end zone. Cam Ball, number 10, with a really nice block, and the interior line just walled everything off.
21 points off turnover tonight. Marlon Hawk with the extra point. It's 56-0. Mississippi State pouring it on tonight at Davis-Wade Stadium. What they're playing for, that national championship opportunity, year 2 of the college football playoff. These are the games happening right now in the SEC, closing in on halftime at Oxford. Ole Miss in front of Arkansas 28-21. Florida and LSU tied at 3. Notre Dame up 10 at home against Texas A&M. Kentucky looking for a win against Eastern Michigan, and a good one in Columbia, South Carolina. Vandy and the Gamecocks tied at 7 apiece. Another kick that is a touchback. 9:55 remaining. Alcorn State trailing 56-0. We'll start from their own 25-yard line. We've seen 3 quarterbacks tonight from Mississippi State. Blake Shapen has not played in the second half. Kromenhoek had the rushing touchdown. Blake Shapen may have had time for all the sweat to dry at this point. You've seen Kamario Taylor. He had the touchdown pass in the first half. Kromenhoek just had the rushing touchdown. On the ground, Carl McDonald Jr., the true freshman out of Natchez, Mississippi, Natchez High School. On the run.
Jermaine Gales was excited to see him even more. You know, he only had 1 carry coming into tonight's game, but thought at some point we would see the true freshman.
2nd and 7 after the gain of 3 on first down. Andre Washington has played most of this second half at quarterback for Alcorn State. Cut back, but good. Pursued by Mississippi State. Ball comes out, but Washington's able to cover it up.
Gotta have ball security when you're in the game. Cameron Stewart's coming back in. Young player Carl McDonald is going to start outside. And the worst thing you can do is come back in with the bigs. They usually knock that ball out.
That was a 5th fumble in this game for Alcorn State.
Good job by Andre Washington of being heads up.
Behind the sticks, 3rd and 12 for the Braves. $145 total yards tonight for the Alcorn State offense. On the ground here, not much doing.
This defense is just flying to the football. That was 5 guys there. And just the disruption in the backfield even before the running back is even able to get to the line of scrimmage. Part of that depth that Coleman Hustler was talking about. You can see it displayed. Different guys are in, not the starters, but they're now getting opportunities to play.
Franklin Rogers, the punter this time for Alcorn State. They've gone with Demetrian Duval for most of the game. Able to get that one away with no return. 28-21. Some of the scores you're seeing, Mississippi State rolling here in Starkville. We've seen 3 quarterbacks tonight for Mississippi State. All 3 have been effective. Blake Shapeman, a couple of touchdowns through the air. Had one rushing as well. Mario Taylor with the big throw for a touchdown earlier in the ballgame. This is the one on the ground for Shapeman.
Nice start across the middle. And then Cromenhawk says, hey, I want to get involved too. Let me get a little bit of this touchdown party.
Cromenhawk with the rushing touchdown. So 3 total TDs for Blake Shapeman. Other 2 quarterbacks each with 1 as well. Now it's Mario Taylor's turn once again. On the ground. Mississippi State getting deep into the bench at this point.
The handoff goes for 4 yards, second down and 6.
Only 21 we've got is Hunter Washington. I think that's Hunter Washington.
Giving them some run on the offensive side. Unless we have a double jersey. We don't have another 21 listed.
Third down from the 48 for Mississippi State. Mario Taylor going to keep it himself. Turns it up, dives toward the 40. That's a first down for the Bulldogs. They will keep the drive going. It's Colin Wilson, the number 21, we were trying to find a name for just a moment ago. He's 26 on the roster, but he's going with 21 tonight. Alcorn State player down.
Changed it up on
Injuries to the defense. By rule, Alcorn State will be charged with a timeout.
New rule this year, if a defensive player goes down later than during the play, the team is charged with a timeout or a 5-yard penalty. They got a timeout, so we'll take it here. 6:07 to play, 56-0, Mississippi State in front. Here is the Week 4 SEC football lineup. It all gets started at 12:45 Eastern when Tennessee hosts UAB. Followed by these Bulldogs taking on Northern Illinois. Then number 3 LSU hosts Southeastern Louisiana in Death Valley. And then a bonus game, number 7 Texas at home at DKR next Saturday night against Sam Houston. Colin Wilson on the carry. Colin Wilson, a freshman from Gulf Shores, Alabama, getting a chance here in the fourth quarter. You joined us late. 10-minute quarters in the second half of this game. Both teams agreed to that. That is allowed by rule. Seth Davis now in the game alongside Camario Taylor. And it's Davis that gets a chance, burst up the middle, big hole there, and he's able to get close to a first down. Going to be about 2 yards short.
Davis.
He's a third-year sophomore out of Katy, Texas.
Right outside of Houston.
You know that area.
Yeah. Katy has blown up from the standpoint of being a suburb of Houston and high schools that have exploded. A lot of good football played out there.
Hard to know where one town stops and the next one starts.
The way Houston likes to annex, so to speak.
Taylor pulls it. He's going to keep it. He's got a lot of green in front of him. Kamario Taylor cuts it inside the 15, knocked off his feet at the 13-yard line.
You took a page out of Blake Shapin's book, The Edge. If you lose contain and you have that zone read opportunity where you can hand it or take it, watch the end. There's no end there, and he sees that, comes in, and he's engaged with the tackle. Mario Taylor, some speed.
Colin Wilson back in the game at the running back spot. 4:05 to play. Another touchdown would put Mississippi State over 60. This is Wilson. Down inside the 5-yard line. That's a first down. First and goal coming up for Mississippi State. There is a flag down.
Holding, offense, number 73, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Jaquan Bolden, big 73, right side of the line, and once he loses the tackle there, he just keeps going on. A little bit of WWE there.
There may not be a whole lot that Jeff Levy doesn't like about this film. 10 penalties, though, on Mississippi State tonight for a total of 75 yards. Oh, the burst again, straight line to the end zone. Touchdown from 23 yards away. Seth Davis with the score. 23 for 23.
Explosive run by Seth Davis. Last run he had, you could see he could pick him up and put him down.
You said that a couple of plays back, showed a little burst there, and you saw a big burst. Seth Davis into the end zone. Mississippi State now with 62 on the scoreboard. Hawk with the extra point. That is up and is good. 497 total yards of offense tonight for Mississippi State. On their way to their first 3-0 start since 2018.
Well, Alcorn's defense, you have the defensive end go inside. Seth Davis just already going out there. And the explosion and getting around the edge. Their defense has been on the field a long time tonight. I agree with you, though. I think Jeff Levy and his staff have to be happy with how they found plays in the passing game, the run game, but the penalties are going to be one of the things. And there's some penalties that were just uncharacteristic of this team that's how they played so far. They've been pretty good from being penalized.
And we talked a moment ago. Look at it. They're celebrating with Seth Davis on the sideline. Teammates awfully happy for him. We looked at Mississippi State's schedule going. Northern Illinois next week, final non-conference game. 4 non-conference to start the year, then they'll play straight through SEC the rest of the way after that. If they are able to get past Northern Illinois, all of a sudden, that game against Tennessee 2 weeks from tonight, right here in Starkville, you're going to get a repeat of that atmosphere that you had last Saturday night and then some.
And you have 4 back-to-back home games that they're in the middle of right now, which has to be great for them.
Let's check in with Stephanie for more on Seth Davis.
Yeah, you guys saw all the emotions, extra excitement on the sideline for him. He was injured 2 years ago in the Egg Bowl. I just talked to the trainer. It was a very low percentage of him returning. To have a moment like that really got the team back on their feet, reiterating Mississippi State. Are they back? Guys, are they back?
We'll see.
I mean, I would say
it certainly is a better place than it was.
It is. And the thing I like is you can tell how happy his teammates are for him. Because when you watch a guy go through injuries and you're not sure if you're going to be able to come back, That's the beauty of this game.
And to Stephanie's question, are they back? I mean, we're going to know a whole lot more 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's a great question to ask. But I think, are they better than where they were? Yes. Are they back? We'll know about that real soon.
Team that was 2-10 a year ago, 0-8 in Southeastern Conference play. Year 1 for Jeff Levy.
But Richard, when you watch the tape of those guys last year, like I did at the very end of the season, they still played hard. They just didn't have guys that can make plays. And when I watch tonight, whether it's the first unit or the second unit, they're flying to the football. They're not doing everything perfect, but they're getting there quick, fast, in a hurry.
There was one game a year ago where they kind of shut it down. It was against Toledo in the non-conference. Outside of that, it was simply a depth, talent, do you have the pieces issue. Coming up on the 2-minute timeout, third down play is what we will have for Alcorn State.
2-minute timeout.
When we come back, Mississippi State leading at 63-0 on this Saturday night in Starkville. Years ago, Mississippi State beat Arkansas State 67-0. If this score holds, this will be the largest shutout win since probably that afternoon. Don't think they were playing that one under the lights. We are under the lights, and the Bulldog fans that are still here, plenty to cheer about tonight. On the ground for Alcorn State on 3rd and 4, going to be short of the marker. Traylon Minor on the carry. He got it out to the 35. Going to be a couple of yards short of the first down, and so another punt coming up. Going to see Franklin Rogers again.
Well, they've gone to kicking it low and short, and you can see Coach Levy going by Coleman Husker giving them some gap. They're trying to get that shutout. That defense has played some really good football tonight.
Mississippi State defense has given up 155 yards. A flag comes in at the snap. They blow it dead.
False start. Offense, number 30. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Jalen McCroy, the guilty party.
This is Colin Wilson back to return this punt. Seen him in the game as a running back.
The penalty, under 2 minutes, is eligible for a 10-second runoff. Alcorn State will not use their timeout. Game clock operator, please set the game clock to 1:02, and the game clock will start on my ready for play.
1:02 now remaining. Vanderbilt just took a lead over South Carolina late in the second quarter, trying to make it 14-7 pending the extra point. LSU leading Florida 10-3. Halftime score between Ole Miss and Arkansas. Rebels in front of the Razorbacks 31-28.
A little shootout going there.
Woo. Arkansas missed a field goal on its opening drive of the game. Both teams scored every single possession the rest of the way. So Mississippi State will get the football back, leading 63-0. Pretty good night at the office for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, everything they wanted to do and they talked about this week, it seems like they've got accomplished. And I think that's what you have when you have a team that's trying to go in that right direction, play to your level, and we've seen that tonight.
By the way, Florida an extra point away from tying it up in Baton Rouge. New quarterback in for Mississippi State. Parker Puckett getting a chance. And it's Wilson bouncing it to the outside across midfield to the 45-yard line. Another first down. Bulldogs go over 500 yards of total offense with that 17-yard run.
Colin Wilson says, okay, Seth, I see you moving real fast. Let me get some of that too.
And that appears to be the final play of the ball game. Jeff Levy able to get Puckett into the game at the very end, get him a snap. He'll head toward midfield to meet Cedric Thomas, the head coach of Alcorn State. Next Saturday, Bulldogs will host Northern Illinois. Afternoon game to try and get to 4-0. Alcorn State back home next weekend against Arkansas Pine Bluff. 3-0, first time for the Bulldogs in 7 years. 2018, the last time they began the season at 3-0. Biggest shutout win since 1950. Here's Jeff Levy with Stephanie Odie.
Coach, what a great performance for your team. Another one here at Davis Wade. You talked about wanting to get that defense back in check. You got to ring that turnover bell 3 times. How does it feel?
That was huge for us. I'm proud of our defense. We did some things offensively that put them in a bad situation defensively, and then we found a way to make plays, create turnovers, so proud of that group.
And that's right. You also wanted to get the run game going again. You multiplied the rushing yards 4 times over, 6 on the ground in the end zone. Again, getting this thing clicking on all cylinders. What is it that's getting everything clicking? Yeah,
I think those guys just hit their groove a little bit today, and we're going to need our run game in a huge way as we continue to move forward.
That's right. You have conference play in just 2 weeks. You can feel the energy. I know you like to keep the emotions in check. The highs can't get too high, the lows can't get too low. But you can feel it. We all can feel it. What is your message to the SEC right now?
It is. It's about clearing this one, getting better from this one. 3:15 next Saturday. We've got a really good Northern Illinois football team coming in here. We've got to protect Davis Wade, and that's going to be the message.
Awesome job tonight. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you.
Many thanks to Jeff Levy. His Bulldogs hang 63 on the scoreboard tonight. Final thought.
Hey, everything they said they wanted to do, they did. Clean up the penalties, but other than that, this is a big, big win for this Mississippi State Bulldogs team.
75 years since the Bulldogs have had a shutout victory this large. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with us. Final score at Starkville, 63-0. Mississippi State with the shutout win. For my partner, the birthday boy, Charles Arbuckle, I'm Richard Cross. For our entire crew, good night from Starkville.